Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Can you believe it's already the time of year where these videos are going to start popping up of autumn knitting and crafting plans? Because I honestly feel like this year has just absolutely flown by, and as per usual I have been very unsuccessful in actually bothering to make any summer knits. I just love jumpers and oversized cardigans, woolly things, so this is hopefully going to be a lot more seasonally appropriate than what I was knitting over the last few months. Before we get started, I always forget, so we can do it now. I am wearing a self-designed saddle shoulder jumper. This is knit in the Isaiah Aran tweed in confetti, which I feel like is really popular, and at some point I will be putting out a pattern call for this. It will most likely be my next pattern after my striped cardigan, which is just going into test. It has half twisted rib, cuffs, collar, hem, everything like that, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So let's get into this because I feel like there's quite a few. I just want to say as well, this is not like a exact definite list. If you look back on my summer ones, did not stick to the list super well. I have accumulated a fair bit of yarn this month. There's a couple of things that haven't come yet, but I will talk about them. So my plan is, apart from one thing which I need to buy, which is for a gift knit, I'm hoping not to buy any more yarn for the rest of the year because it's getting ridiculous. So most of these projects I'm going to have yarn in stash that I can actually hold up and show you, which is nice. And the other thing is, I'm pretty sure only one of these is going to be someone else's pattern. So everything else I'm either self-drafting or designing for a pattern. There's a couple of things I'm not going to do patterns for because, I don't know, I'll tell you about it when I get there. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get started. I'm gonna, as always, put up Pinterest inspo pics on the screen, and I think that is probably about it. So before we get properly into all of the new projects, I'm gonna show you what I'm working on now, because I think it goes without saying I would like to obviously finish these two things off. The first one is the remake of my Cable's Delight jumper. I feel like this has honestly spanned across multiple videos now because I'm always a monotonous knitter. I don't know what's happened to me this month, but I just haven't been working on only this. So this is where I am currently. I've done quite a bit of the body and I've just started on a sleeve. The reason I stopped working on this again is because I need to rework the sleeve. I'm not loving the way that it's looking. And basically I want to make this portion at the top smaller so that as I decrease, the decreases are always in this under the arm section and they don't start to like encroach on the actual nice bits of the design. So I was working on this on my lunch and basically just put it down and thought I need to tackle this at home when I can rework out all the stitch counts and the charts and everything. But this has been knit up in the Friends wool from Hobby, and it's super nice, it's super stretchy. This has a lot more positive ease than it looks like right now, because obviously it's basically a variant of like a rib, and I really love this neckline. So yeah, this is a basically second sample. I knit the first version of this years ago, and I've been wanting like a really heavy, like all over knives out style jumper for ages, and I literally had already designed one. I just needed to make it in a more suitable yarn. So this is the first thing that I really need to tackle finishing, truthfully, before I get on to starting any of these other projects, even though it's so hard. Secondly, and honestly, these projects are kind of like polar opposite in terms of their like yarn, function, season. This is a lace cardigan I've been working on. The yarn is drop spell, so it's like a linen viscose, linen viscose cotton blend. As you can see, it's going to have like a European shoulder and it's going to be like a v-neck tie in the front. This is obviously more of like a summer yarn, more of like a layering piece. I feel like this is going to be really cute. Like, you could definitely wear this as like a bikini cover up, or you could wear this like in the winter over like a nice like top or something under a coat. And yeah, I definitely need to finish this. I mean, yeah, this is definitely more of like a yellow creamy yarn. This is more of like a true, like quite pale matte white, but I've been really enjoying working on the both of them. I actually need to just sit down and make some progress. But yeah, these are the two projects that I am actually currently working on, and let's get into all of the new to me projects. We'll quickly show you on the screen some inspo for this cardigan, because I feel like this may not translate exactly how I want it to, so hopefully you can get the vibe. But yeah, let's take a look at some of the new to me projects. So the first thing that I'm super excited to finally be getting around to making is an oversized drop shoulder cardigan, but I want it to be like almost like an outerwear piece, and I want to knit this in my Noro Madara in Sake. So this, I mean, if you like Noro yarn, you'll have most likely already seen this before. This is a blend of wool, silk and alpaca, and as you can see, it's got this like beige base with all of these different speckles running through it. It's not actually that dissimilar to the yarn I'm wearing, apart from obviously this is on like a darker base, but it is kind of similar in terms of it has all these different kind of colors running through it. It's also like a kind of thin and thick. The yarn isn't super consistent, which is the same as what I'm wearing currently. But yeah, hopefully you'll be looking at some pictures on the screen. I've had this in mind for so long. I basically would like to make this kind of jacket slash cardigan with pockets specifically, but I don't want to do like pockets that you knit a square and just plop them on the front. I want them to be like inset pockets, so like essentially you'd knit like a slit somewhere and knit pocket bags on the back side, and yeah, that would be that. I do want this to be quite oversized. I love a good like 10-11 inches of positive ease. That's what this jumper currently has, so I'd probably do it quite similar in shape. I don't know what buttons I'm going to go for this yet. I definitely want to be button up, double knit button band, which is, you know, which is the classic, I feel. I do love a double knit button band, and yeah, I just feel like this is going to be such a good like transitional piece. I feel like cardigans are just so much easier as well, because you can open them up, they're just so much easier to take on and off. And if you're like me and have a bad habit of binding off your neck holes too tight, then you're not going to run into that problem. And yeah, like I said, I mean, this yarn I have literally had in stash, I think since God, maybe like October, November time last year. This is so hard to get hold of. I couldn't even get hold of any in the UK. I had to actually order this on Etsy from Australia, and yeah, I have still let it sit in stash for this long, which is pretty embarrassing. So I do really want to get to this, and the yarn is just super nice. If you're interested, comparatively, I feel like the Isaiah is maybe a bit scratchier than the Noro, although I obviously haven't worn this yet, so that could be a lie, but that is kind of how it feels just to the touch. Okay, so next, and this is kind of more out of function than anything, I knit this cardigan earlier this year, and it kind of took me a little while to finish because I have discovered that I really don't like knitting on small circumferences if it's not magic loop, and this yarn ladder's really bad with magic loop. But this was the cardigan I knit. It's this all over lace kind of like little square, I guess, design. It ties up in the front, it's got I-cord ties, it's got quite tight fitted sleeves, and this is knit in the Drops brushed alpaca silk. And basically I want to knit myself a second sample because firstly I want to change the measurements and stitch counts ever so slightly, because I feel like the arms fit me right, but then I feel like there should be less positive ease on the bust. Like, it looks fine, but if I was to write a pattern for this, it would be something that I would be picky about. And when I knit this first sample, I had intended to add like ruffles and stuff, and then I decided not to. But we have a family wedding in October, and I think I'm going to be wearing like a brown like floral dress that I already own. And basically I wanted to make a second sample of this to fix the grading, etc. And so I bought yarn a little while ago when Drops were having one of their many sales. And so basically I do actually really need to knit this in the next like month if I'm gonna be able to wear it to that wedding. But if not, then whatever. I feel like these are quite good as more like dressy knits, because I feel like, you know, oversized jumpers like this are maybe not the vibe to more formal events. So it's the same yarn. It's the Drops alpaca silk, brush alpaca silk, but this is in like a burgundy kind of colour. This is colorway 23. They don't have names on the balls, which is always annoying for Drops. But yeah, so this version, we need to first of all fix the bust measurement, and second of all, this version is going to have ruffles as well, so that obviously if I do come to release this as a pattern, there's going to be sample photos with and without the ruffles. But yeah, I mean, this yarn is really nice. It is really soft. I think it's a good alternative to mohair. Just be careful with gauge though. But like I said, it does ladder badly, or at least for me that could be a skill thing, in terms of like magic loop, etc., beginning and ends of rounds. So I knit those sleeves on shorties, which worked way better in terms of finished look. But one thing about me, I hate knitting on shorties. I just can't get to grips with it. And so honestly, that is the thing that puts me off. And also because this is a set-in sleeve, it is also grading that as a set-in sleeve. So obviously I've been working on my lace cardigan as well, so I have had some more practice with it, but I just felt like at the time that I wanted to rewrite it, I didn't quite have the skill set to do so properly, and now I do feel a bit more confident. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. I mean, I would love to wear this to that wedding, but I know what I'm like, and I'm bad with starting other projects, so we're gonna have to see. Next, and I have literally just bought the yarn for this, so I'm gonna have to take it out of the bag. So I'm going to be knitting the Sand Sweater by Aegyo Knits. Again, I will hopefully have the picture up on the screen. And if you've been following along on my channel, you might have seen I've been on kind of like a colorwork one. I've been wanting to learn how to knit colorwork, and I recently finished the Maxine Hot Water Bottle cover by Laura Penrose, I'll put it here. And yeah, I really want to do a jumper. So I decided for my first jumper I was going to follow a pattern, because I feel like that is always easier when learning a new technique. And I'm going to be knitting it in the Camerose Snefnug as the main yarn, and then also just like some different mohairs to hold with, because this is actually quite a thick gauge. I think it's like a bulky weight gauge, but the thing is that the main yarn is a blown yarn, and then you hold it with a mohair. So I'm kind of hoping that this isn't going to be like swelteringly hot, because the yarn is not so thick and not so heavy. So let me show you the colours I'm going to pick. I will put up on the screen like a mock-up of how I've gone about picking what colours I'm going to do, and then I can show you the yarns to like go with. So this is like a new to me yarn as well, the Snefnug. It's a new to me yarn. Of course, I haven't used it before. It's maybe a little bit pricier. I think there is an alternative, like you could use Drops Air. I've used Drops Air a couple of times, and I feel like it really like deflates when you block it. And yeah, I want to try something new. And this is also a percentage of cotton, so it's 55% alpaca, 35 organic cotton, and 10% merino. So it is a different composition, so I was interested. One of these balls has like kind of collapsed in the bag, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to hold this up again. So this is what I'm going to be using as the main colour, this charcoal, and then the green and white as the contrast. I feel like these look so good together. So this is colorway, do you know, these names are so hard to pronounce, so I can remember it now. I'm going to tell you the numbers. This dark grey is 7313. This like yellowy green, I think it's like moss green, is 7995, and then this is 7811. So there's going to be more of the green than the white. The like bottom, like this bit, I am going to do in white as well, just because I feel like it will carry the colour down a bit nicer. So for the grey and the black mohair, in fact I haven't even held these together yet, so okay, yeah, they look fine. Basically I just bought some drops mohair. Drops are or were having a sale as to when I'm filming this, so I'm going to use black with this like really dark charcoal grey, because I feel like the drops, like the other grey colour wasn't grey enough, and then this is obviously just like an off-white match. And then here's where I'm more conflicted on the green colour. So obviously this is the yarn that I bought, and this was the mohair that I ordered. Now obviously it's not a great colour match, and I was kind of hoping that it would tint it like more green instead of more yellow. I need to swatch to actually see how it looks, but I did also find in stash, I have this old Friends mohair from Hobby, which I feel like blends like much better. So if it doesn't work out with that, I'm going to use this. This is, I think I measured like maybe 15 grams, so there I would need another 10 grams of this. But the project that this is currently in is the first sample of my Cable's Delight jumper, and I can frog that. Like, I'm never gonna wear it anyway, and it's only on the contrast cuffs and neckline and stuff. So worst case, I could reclaim some yarn from that project if I think this is going to work out better. I think looking at it, this looks much better, but I feel like you never know with mohair, because when you knit out, the halo just tends to like blend everything together. And because this is quite like a fluffy yarn in itself, I don't know, it could work, but let me tell you, I'm so excited about this. I think this is going to be one of my next garment cast-ons. After obviously, I really need to finish the ones I'm working on at the minute. But yeah, this is, I think, the only pattern I'm going to be following in the next couple of months, and I am super excited about it. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off with garments that I have yarn for, and then talk about garments that the yarn is still in the post. And then I'll get on to decor bits, accessories at the end. So I would like to make, similar to my knitted lace cardigan, I would also like to make a crochet one. I feel like I've just been craving to crochet recently and just haven't done it. So I bought this yarn from Yeoman Yarns. I don't know how you say that, I'm so sorry. And this is the 4-ply mercerized cotton. So I have 2 cones of this. I think it works out to be, yeah, so I have 2,000 meters, and this is just like whatever the lime green color is. So this is the Canal yarn in the colorway Marsh. And yeah, I just really want to make like a lacy kind of crochet cardigan. Again, hopefully you'll be looking at some pictures. I feel like this is definitely more of a transitional piece. I think this summer we've just had like unseasonably hot summer. I know obviously it gets hotter in the summer, but the UK generally tends to like rain for months, and then you get like a couple of humid days. We have had like multiple heat waves this year, at least where I live, and it's gotten up into the 30s multiple times, and I feel like it could quite easily continue into like September, October, because I feel like April, May, and then like September, October, the weather is so hit and miss. You generally never know what's coming, and worst case, I mean, it will just be a layering piece. But yeah, I think I just the thing that I struggle with when designing my own stuff is not so much actually like the maths, etc. It is actually picking what stitch I want to do. I need to do some swatches with this yarn and basically come to a decision on that, but I think this should work up super quick. I feel like crochet works up quicker, and I actually could crochet for years before I can knit, so I feel like the muscle memory just like jumps into action when I start to crochet. And yeah, fingers crossed that'll be maybe like a quicker project, even though it's like a 4-ply yarn, because earlier this year I crocheted a like blouse which was using, when I say 4-ply, it's because these are intended for knitting machines, so it's like basically a fingering weight. I crocheted a fingering weight summer blouse but on a 5mm hook, and it looks nice because it's super gappy and airy, but it was also just like super fast, very quick, sort of instant gratification, which I don't often like. I don't make projects with the intention to do it quick and to be like, oh, I made this, but sometimes, you know, we all enjoy it every now and then. So yeah, I feel like if I'm gonna get to this, I need to get to this soon, honestly, because I feel like I'll say, oh, it's gonna be hot in September, and then just watch, we're gonna get like snowstorms. So that'll be my fault, sorry guys. So this next one, I don't even know how like I'm gonna really show you this, and also I really couldn't find any suitable like reference photos, so the ones I'm gonna show you are just like vibes, okay? They're not like really exact, or like they're not combined into what I want them to be, but that is why I self-draft things. So I'm going to show you a swatch for 2 projects because it's the right stitch, but it's not the same yarn and it's not the same project. So I have this huge bag of hobby friends wool. This was sent to me for free, but I don't have to talk about it. I got sent this like months ago, honestly, for a different thing, and basically it's all just like DK weight yarn, all these different colors I think look quite nice together. Plus I also have a load of fingering weight sock yarn, which obviously I can hold double, and just generally a lot of DK weight scraps. I do enjoy a DK weight, and you know, other things can be bulked up to reach that weight. What I would like to do is combine them into a Scrappy crochet linen slash moss stitch, god that was a mouthful, zip up thing. What would you call a zip up? Like, it's not a hoodie because there's no hood. A zip up cardigan? But I don't know. Basically I want it to have a big zip, have all over different colours, and then have the same colour for like the collar, the front like zipper guard, the cuffs, etc., so that it kind of looks cohesive, but I can try and crochet up as many scraps as possible. So I say linen slash moss stitch because I think it's called both. I don't really know, but this is a swatch that I did in a different yarn, which I will get to. So this is basically the vibe, and this was actually the yarn that I was going to use for the project. Now the problem is this is a fingering weight cotton yarn, and I feel like over time, because there's no grip in this yarn because it's cotton, I just am concerned that the garment's gonna sag, and not only is that annoying, but secondly my concern is that if I'm sewing in a zipper, the zipper is forever going to be the same length. But if the garment sags, I don't want it to be like, if you imagine like zipper in the middle, I don't want it to like sag down and like look like the zips pulling the front bit up. It might never happen, but it just concerned me enough because this is so easy to like, I don't know how well, yeah, okay, you can see the gaps. So I basically have come to the conclusion after much deliberation that this is going to be a different project, which I'll tell you about in a second when we get into like home stuff. And then I am basically going to use my wool scraps for the garment because I think that it's going to hold together much better. Obviously wool has more memory than cotton, so I'm hoping that once it's washed it's not just gonna like completely droop. And yeah, the like texture and like the toothiness of the yarn is gonna hopefully give it a little bit more structure, like structural integrity. Plus the other good thing is, because crochet eats yarn more than knit, I'm hoping to get through like more scraps, and I do just have so much leftover wool of various brands, various you know, exact compositions and stuff, but I just think this is going to be really fun. And I do have quite a few of, well, I have 4 of this, so I'm thinking maybe this can be the rib color. I also am intending to do all of the rib and trims etc in knit. See, this is the problem, because the more I talk about things, the more I want to start them, and I know in my head I should really be knitting that lace that brushed alpaca lace cardigan, but can I bring myself to do it? I'm not sure. The other thing is, if I have left over from my cable jumper, then I will also have more of this, because that's also the Friends wool, so potentially could go into this if I have enough left. I have no idea, because this is not the same color as that. This is a slightly different shade. So yeah, I just think it's gonna be really fun more than anything. And I also feel like this is missing some colors, so probably just in other boxes of yarn. But yeah, more of like a scrap buster than anything. So the next 3 garments I'm going to talk about, I don't have the yarn for. And the first one, we're going to have to whisper a bit. I'm gift knitting my mum a jumper for Christmas, but she has no idea. So when knitting for Olive, we're having the day where they donate all of the like money that they make to a charity. This year it was Palestine. I decided that I was going to buy some yarn. I have been wanting to get some yarn for this project anyway, and I just thought, why not? So I have bought it's the Knit for Olive Merino. I can't remember exactly what the colourway is. It's like this kind of purplish colour. I'll put it up on the screen. They don't have as many colours in the heavy merino as they do in the merino. So my intention is I bought enough to hold this double, so it's going to bulk up to like a DK weight. And all I know as of right now is I'm going to make a jumper. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to put up a couple different pictures on the screen, because I want it to be textured to some degree, whether that's a knit and purl stitch, whether that's a lace, whether it's a cable, something along the lines of that. Probably looking around like 6 inches ish of positive ease, because she doesn't like things as baggy as me. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna self-draft it potentially. Might maybe buy a pattern. As of right now, my intention is to self-draft it. I need to really have a look through all of my like different stitch books etc. I made her a jumper a couple of years ago and I just like cringes me out so bad every time I see it, because my skills have just improved so much, and I think it's going to be really fun to gift it. I will be doing vlogs on all of these, by the way, but I am really excited to get started on this, because I always make things for what I like, but it's going to be fun to make something with someone else in mind, completely from scratch. So yeah, that is my intention with that. Like I said, the yarn isn't here yet. I put in this order maybe like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, but I just think they've probably been completely like overrun with the amount of orders that they received. I mean, the amount of money that they raised was like insane. It was like over 700,000 euros or something. So really, you know, just happy to be a part of that and can't wait to get the yarn. But you best believe I did also buy something for myself. So I recently knit a cardigan. It is going into test as of this week when this video goes up, which is my pinstripe cardigan. And I basically want to knit a jumper version. So I have bought myself the heavy merino. Can't remember exactly what kind of names are again. I'll put them up on the screen. I bought like this burgundy, I think it's called Bordeaux actually, and then also I think the blue might be called like Dove blue. I will put it up if I've said that wrong, but the intention is to have again like a 2-row stripe. It's not going to be exactly the same as the cardigan. Firstly, it's going to be on a slightly bigger gauge. Secondly, it's going to be more oversized. So the cardigan has 6 inches of positive ease, and the jumper I think is probably going to be about 10-11, because that is what I like. The intention is that the main colour is going to be the burgundy. So with the cardigan, the stripes go all over the rib, all over the neckline, like it's striped everywhere. For the jumper version, I want the rib sections to be solid colour. So the burgundy solid colour for all of the rib, exactly what I just said. And then obviously the blue is going to be the contrast colour, the second colour, and that's going to be the striping. Striping's still going to be all over like the main body and sleeves. It's just going to be the rib sections. I might change my mind, but that is what I'm thinking as of right now. Truthfully, I saw this colourway on like a Sunnisgarn pattern, and I have just been, it's just been living in my head rent free. But yeah, this is going to be a different gauge and a slightly different design and everything to that jumper anyway. And honestly, I don't know, I just really love this colourway. So yeah, that is the other yarn that I bought for myself that I don't currently have to show you. I actually ended up selling, so I had some knit and frolic heavy merino in stash, and I had never knit with it, and I kind of like wasn't sure on the colour. I ended up selling it, and then basically with the money that I got from selling that, I just put it towards my own yarn on the same day as the like charity thing. So yeah, thank you for buying that off for me as well if you're watching. But yeah, those two haven't come yet, super excited. Then the other thing, which I haven't got the yarn for yet, and I haven't actually ordered it, we're still up in the air, is Ryan wants another Christmas jumper this year. Every year we've been together, I have knit him a jumper for Christmas, and truthfully he is actually knit worthy. Like, he loves his knit jumpers, he wears them all the time, and I'm sure he wouldn't have asked me 3 years in a row if he actually didn't want them, which I think is sweet. But it is quite a lot of work. This is why I try and get like the gift knits in my head early. I say to him every year, if you want a gift knit for Christmas, you have to tell me in August. So we have basically settled on a stockinette, because I can't be dealing with what I dealt with last year. All over stockinette, oversized, really simple men's jumper. So the first year we were together, we did a red one, and there will be an episode soon of Finish, Fix or Frog in which I'm dealing with his jumpers again. But the first one was a red one stockinette, but I think it was like a DK weight acrylic held double or even triple, and I mean, like, that's another one that just gives me so much cringe to look at. Last year in fact it's literally on the floor, so let me show you. Last year I knit him this. It's probably gonna have like fluff all over it, which is in Let Lopi, and oh my god, this was such a slog. So I have just gone back in and added some length, so I need to reblock the bottom, so that's what that stitch marker's for. But because that yarn is so rustic, it just hurt my hands so much knitting in the 2x2 rib, and obviously he's quite a bit bigger than me, and so it's way bigger than what I would knit for myself. So this year we're just going stockinette, and we're going to go for like a nice deep foresty green. The reason that I haven't bought the yarn is because I basically, when we weren't sure what colour we were going to do, I suggested to him that we should look at Cascade 220. Now, I haven't used Cascade 220, and it's something I wanted to try, so I was like, oh, we should do this. But they have a really great selection of colours. Like, I think by far the biggest colour range of any yarn that I have seen that is like actually wool as well, because I feel like synthetics is way easier. Like acrylic, get any single colour of acrylic that you'd want, right? So we looked at 220, and he really loves a specific colourway, which is Shire, so hopefully I'll put that up as well. But the problem is it's literally been out of stock for so long. So on like Wool Warehouse, I'm signed up to be notified when it comes back in stock. Lovecrafts only has like 2 balls, which is not going to be enough. So we have been looking at some alternatives. I've basically said if by the end of next month I haven't been able to get any, we're going to go with a different yarn. So off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that the other options were, there was like Pigin, I think, had a close green, and then, god, I can't even remember, that's so bad, isn't it? maybe West Yorkshire Spinners. We have been deep diving through Ravelry, trying to like cross compare people's photos, because I feel like sometimes the photos on Ravelry, like it's so useful that they're there, but sometimes like the lighting is just like not it. So yeah, we've been going through and trying to find what is like the closest color match of what he would like, and I think we've narrowed it down to like maybe 3 or 4 different yarns. So worst case scenario, we won't use Cascade. The other thing I like about Cascade is that it comes in 100-gram hanks, so you just get more meterage per hank. And I know it's silly, but it's like for the sake of like weaving in ends and yarn quantities and stuff, I think it would just be easier for a men's jumper to have like bigger balls of wool. So yeah, that is where I'm at. He obviously knows that that is what he's getting, amongst other things, but I do like to start on my gift knits early. I'm excited. He does enjoy them, and I think doing it in stockinette is just going to be so much easier. And I said to him, I'm not using the same yarn as last year. He actually picked that out, by the way. Like, it's not like I ordered it and was like, oh, this is quite rustic. We were in Denmark and we were in a shop, and I was like, oh, we'll just get a gauge. And they had like, you know, Sunday, and they had Pig In, and they had Filiclana Peruvian, and all of this really nice, relatively way softer to the touch than this is. He was like, oh, I want the Let Lopi. So yeah, I told him we're going for a softer yarn. But anyway, I feel like we should move on because that's not that interesting, I don't think, anyway. So yeah, I feel like that's it for garments. I mean, I will almost 100% stray from this list, and I 100% have more yarn in stash than what this list actually covers, but that's kind of where my head is going. I mean, obviously the 2 gift knits are priority. My 2 whips currently do want to finish, and also obviously the cardigan for the wedding, that would be ideal. But I know what I'm like. I just make things that I want to make in the moment, and that's it. But I am excited this year to make some, or I should say this season, to make some more homeware-y bits, some more accessories. I feel like I'm not the biggest knitter of those things. I'm always predominantly garments, and I probably always will be, but there have been some stuff that's been piquing my interest, and also just some things that I want out of like actual functionality and daily need. So on my colorwork little, you know, kick that I've been wanting to learn, I would really love to knit some colorwork mittens. I feel like Handmade by Florence had a couple of episodes where like every episode she had a new mitten, and I just think they look so cool. I also think that this will be a great project in terms of my journey to whittle down my yarn stash, because anything that's left over from any of these other projects, as long as they're DK weight, or like any weight really, but I'm thinking like DK weight mittens, then we can combine them together and it's like happy days. There have been some patterns that I've been interested in. These are just some pictures from Pinterest and stuff, but we might feel a bit adventurous and I might make my own. I think I would like to make a pair of a specific pattern. I'm not sure on what pattern yet first, because the only time I've made mittens, I've like, you know when the thumb just like comes out at the side, which is absolutely fine. What I've noticed with a lot of colorwork mittens is like the thumb portion comes from like here. Does that make sense? So like the back is flat and then the thumb comes from the front, which is meant to be more ergonomic and meant to actually fit your hands better. And so I think it would be interesting to first of all to do that construction, and second of all do that construction in colorwork, because I feel like a lot of mittens have like the big motif on the one side and then some kind of really simple repetitive stitch on the other side that means that you have no like really long floats. And so yeah, I don't know, I'd be interested to do that in like a colorwork repeat, and I just think it's like a new challenge. I honestly really loved knitting the Maxine in the colorwork, and I'm so excited to work on more projects like it. Next, I would like to make some hair accessories. Now annoyingly, I have misplaced the yarn I was going to hold up for this, so I will show you my tiny itty bitty pathetic swatch. When I say I want to make hair accessories, first of all, maybe some scrunchies or something. Again, scrap yarn buster. but I have been really enjoying recently wearing like ribbon in my hair, so like hair up in a plait, ribbon around it, that kind of vibe. And I have bought some like crochet lace like thread, you know, the ones that use on like 1mm hooks. And I mean this swatch is like not even anything. I basically want to make maybe like an accessory bundle where there's like different ribbons that you can crochet, maybe some different hair accessories, scrunchies, etc. And we'll kind of like utilize maybe like the same stitch or the same yarn. Like, I don't know if you can use your imagination and like it's like tied or something. This kind of thickness, maybe a little bit thicker, and obviously just like long. But yeah, I don't know, I just feel like it's something cute to add to an outfit, and I honestly can't imagine that they're going to take very long. I don't even know where this came from. I've just gone down like a bit of a rabbit hole with it. I feel like you could even use these as like shoelaces or something, where like people will replace the shoelaces with actual lace. So that is a possibility. Next, and we're going to come back to this guy. So this is actually the Suniscan Mandarin Petite, which I have this whole ball of. And obviously, as I said, the intention for this was to be a garment. I kind of bought this when I was getting like back into knitting, and my thought was this would be a really fun like summer layering piece because it's all cotton, it's fingering weight. I didn't really understand, or like, no, I didn't understand. I guess I just didn't consider this whole issue with the falling. I'm pretty sure I actually have washed and blocked this, but I mean, like, look at how drastically you can pull it. So what I am thinking with this is I have been really randomly obsessed with looking at different cushion covers on Pinterest. Me and my boyfriend are kind of in a stage right now that we're starting to think about moving out and all that, everything that comes with it. And what more do you need than an excessive collection of handmade cushion covers? So I'm thinking with this, I am gonna do something in this kind of stitch. I'm probably gonna hold it double to bump it up to a DK weight, because I don't need to have the concern of running out of yarn on a garment, because it's only gonna be a cushion cover. If I can only make one, then so be it. Like, it doesn't actually need a pair. I would like to be able to make a pair, or maybe like 2 different sizes, or maybe like one in one stitch, one in another, but they're the same colorway, so they're in some way cohesive. You know, like when you maybe get like variegated yarn, right, and you knit socks and the socks aren't the same, but they're like different together. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But my other thought with this was, because I've been going down this rabbit hole of cushion covers, I've been like racking my brain of like what yarn is going to be suitable for this. I have developed a really sensitive skin, and I keep having issues with my eyes swelling up. This is like a whole thing. It's not even my eye, it's like my actual eyelids. But I don't want to encourage my face to do that by having a really woolly wool cushion cover and then putting the cushion cover on my bed, even just as decoration, and like fibers coming off, being over that, and then I go to sleep and then the fibers all like up in my face and stuff. So I'm thinking that this cotton is going to be way more suitable for that, because like they're not fluffy, like nothing really comes off of cotton yarn. Or the other thing is, I am thinking of potentially making one big cushion cover to get a cushion to go on my lovely desk chair. So I really need to have a look again at the meterages and stuff of this, and obviously because I'm going to be holding it double. But I think that this colorway is so cute, and I'm just obsessed with this stitch. Like, I love the way that it's not a stripe, like the colors kind of go into each other's rows, and it's so easy to crochet. You literally single crochet one, chain one, and then on the next row you chain above the single crochet, and then you single crochet into the chain. So it's like constantly kind of up and down. But yeah, I'm very excited by this, and hopefully, I mean, if I don't finish up all of this yarn, then I'm just gonna keep going with it, different home decor stuff, until we run out. I would also, out of functionality, like to make myself a iPad case and a bookcase. I feel like these I'm putting into the same category because they're basically the same thing. It's like a rectangular case with one side that's open. I take a book to work with me and a notebook, and also sometimes my iPad, and like I'm knitting and stuff to do on my lunch break depending on the day. And because I just take like a tote bag, I hate that like everything just falls into like the same compartment and really has no structure, and I get concerned that if I put my iPad in my bag that it's gonna like snap or something's gonna like dent it, because like I only have, oh, hold this up, like one of these keyboard cases, so it's not really very protective. So I'm thinking maybe like a chunky knit or like a chunky single crochet, even maybe linen stitch, because I seem to have a bit of a problem. Then it will be a bit more padded, it will give me a little bit more comfort, because I normally like carry my iPad and then have my bag on my shoulder, which is just like inconvenient. So yeah, again, scrap yarn. I feel like this can help me get through my stash problem, and I just think that they're cute, like they're so functional, and if all goes well, people might be getting them as gifts for Christmas. If I didn't do it out of knit or crochet, I would probably sew one. Potentially I am making a gift one of those for someone else, so we're gonna have to see on that front. Keeping going on the crochet hype, I'd like to make a scarf. I only really have like 1 or 2 scarves. I don't wear them all the time in the winter, but I love like a chunky scarf. Like, I'm sorry, you could never catch me in a Sophie scarf. I think they're cute and I think they're great for like the amount of yarn that they use, but I will never be a small scarf person. I'm so sorry, I actually can't rock it. It's like just so not my style. I love a big chunky, like you wrap it around, huge scarf. And again, I feel like this is going to be another way to just get rid of yarn scraps. I'm kind of like thinking that these scrappy projects will maybe come towards the end of the season once I've gotten through some of these other yarn quantities, because then I'll know exactly what I've got left over as well. So yeah, like I said, this isn't like a exact list of boom boom boom, these are what I'm gonna do. The other thing as well, which I haven't mentioned here, is obviously my finish, fix it or frog it little mini series thing. It's still going to be ongoing. I still want to go back and visit a lot of old knits that need tweaking, etc., but because they're not entirely new pieces, I'm not gonna go through them. There's a whole video, the first episode of that series is me just going through and basically discussing all the things I wanted to fix. So there's that, and I honestly don't really plan ahead with them because I just kind of pick them up as and when I feel like working on them. But yeah, I'd be super interested to know, what is everyone else working on, and is there anything in the list that you think that we are making something similar, because I would love to know. Or if there's any new yarns you would like to try, because that is always the case for me. Thank you so much if you made it all the way to the end of the video, and obviously don't forget to stick around if you want to see project vlogs of these. I pretty much make project vlogs for absolutely everything that I make, so these will hopefully all be up on the channel in the next couple of months. If you're interested in being a tester, Instagram, and I think that is probably about it. So I'm going to catch you later and hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.